This is the 2024 Best in Heritage edition. I'm Sandro De Bono, and I'm here with Nayat Karakos, who is the coordinator responsible for 23.5 Hrant Site of Memory and the awardee also of the Kenneth Hudson Award for Institutional Courage and Professional Integrity, awarded by the European Museum Forum in 2023. Congratulations, first of all.
Thank you very much.
So I'd like to invite you to present your museum to us and tell us a bit more about its history and what really makes it so special.
Thank you for giving this opportunity to us. 23.5 Hrant Site of Memory is located in the former office venue of Agos newspaper. Well, Agos was a newspaper established by Hrant Dink, and it was the first newspaper to be published both in Turkish and in Armenian during the Republican era. And over the course of time, the newspaper achieved a lot of things. It brought issues regarding minorities, Armenians into the public agenda, promoted minority cultures. But unfortunately, over the course of time, Hrant Dink became a target, and he was killed right in front of the newspaper office. So on January 19, 2007. So from that day on, this venue, the building, gained the important, significant meaning in the collective memory and collective conscience of the society. Hrant Dink Foundation was established a few months after Hrant Dink's assassination to continue his dreams, his legacy. And when we started operating from the same venue as the newspaper, sharing the office with them. But over the course of time, we couldn't fit in, so we decided to move out. But it wasn't an easy decision because this venue possesses an important truth memory inside. So we decided to create a memory site. So after 5 years of preparation, we opened the doors of the memory site as 23.5 Hrant Site of Memory on the 23rd April 2019. And the name of the site comes from one of Hrant Dink's article called 23.5 April. In that article, Hrant Dink describes his feelings in between 23rd of April, which is the day that the Turkish parliament was established. It's a day of sovereignty. But at the same time, it's a holiday dedicated to the children of the world. And the following day, 24th of April, is a very painful day for all Armenians in the world, but especially Armenians in Turkey, as it's the start day of the Armenian genocide. So he was trying to describe his feelings between the pain of the past, the hope for the future. And he was making a call saying that if it's a holiday dedicated to the children of the world, invite all the children from Armenia as well, so maybe they can solve this problem, which very much resonated with our mission because we wanted to build a bridge between the pain of the past, but also the hope for the future. And the memory site, while looking at Hrant Dink's life, his achievements, the story of Agos newspaper, the events that led to his assassination and the aftermath of assassination, it offers a look into the near history of Turkey in terms of minorities, minority rights. But most importantly, we promote the universal values that were embraced by Hrant Dink, such as equality, peace, justice, democracy, human rights, and coexistence. So with its exhibits and programs, the site operates as a site of memory, site of remembrance, site of dialogue, research, communication, and also a site of hope.
Interesting. So you've got quite a layered approach to your identity. I mean, how do you reconcile this very rich strata of connections and identity constructs in a way which are essentially what you stand for, your values, your ideals, your ambitions?
Actually, some people may view this place as a place only for Armenians, but Hrant Dink's only matter was not only the rights of Armenians or minorities. He was a true Democrat, actually trying to promote democratization of Turkey for equal citizenship for everyone. not only for Armenians, but for Kurds, for women wearing headscarves. So he had this, inclusive approach, and we are trying to also incorporate this inside the memory site because, as I said, the most important basis of the site, the values that he embraced, he wanted to promote. And we are trying to kind of open the doors of an alternative history here because Turkey had a multicultural path at the same time. And there's not much knowledge about this past. So this memory site offers layers of information about this multicultural past as well. For instance, we work as the foundation, we work a lot on cultural heritage. And here, the visitors are able to access to the online cultural heritage map of Turkey, which includes all the cultural heritage structures like churches, synagogues, schools built by Armenians, Greeks, Assyrians, and Jews. So they explore a different Turkey in terms of different identities. And as Hrant Dink was an excellent storyteller, he was always writing or telling the true stories of minorities or some disadvantaged groups in Turkey. So our visitors can delve into different truth and realities through the memory site in that sense.
Very interesting. You also present Hrant Dink himself. He also has a role in your experience, and he guides your publics through your site. What are these stories then, in practical terms, that he would share with your visitors? I believe they are local, but perhaps also national and global. Is that it?
Actually, one of the particularities or what makes this site unique is that Hrant Dink is the main narrator and the main guide of the site. He guides our visitors through the exhibit because, to be honest, one of the challenges that we had in the beginning, how to tell the whole story, what kind of a discourse to use at the memory site. But then, we were organizing a lot of meetings with different experts, professionals or non-professionals, and they all said, you have the best storyteller ever, who is Hrant Dink.
It's him.
And yes, and don't just, use another person's narrative, but use his own unique, frank and dialogue-based and peaceful language. So we were lucky because when the foundation was first established, one of the things that we did at first was to create Hrant Dink archive. So we already had a large audio archive of Hrant Dink. And one of the things that we learned during the preparation stage was that memory sites are more of a question than an answer. It poses
that's interesting. Yeah.
And in his speeches, articles, Hrant Dink was a man that, trying to ask questions and incite people to question things at the same time. So we incorporated this idea into the memory site. We have a lot of videos, and each video starts with a question, and Hrant Dink himself replies. And he tells the stories from people through human stories that he encountered, or he writes like that as well, because he knows that, he believes in the power of stories, to be honest. It creates a special bond between us because lived experiences matter, personal accounts matter. And Hrant Dink was very much aware of that. And he was trying to build bridges between people through the real lived experiences and stories. And these are stories of Armenians, of diaspora people, non-Armenians that he encountered.
Not just Armenians. Uh-huh.
So our visitors are able to explore these stories directly told by Hrant Dink. And of course, his own lived experience in terms of discrimination, racism, restriction of free speech as well. So it also builds a frank connection and interaction between visitors and Hrant Dink.
The question in a way beckons, as we say in English. I mean, what do you think then were the particular qualities or innovations that impressed the jury of the Kenneth Hudson Award?
Our memory site, I think, has different qualities. As I said, the fact that Hrant Dink is the main narrator, one of the particularities, I think, which also impressed the jury when they visited here, because there are many memorials or museums dedicated to a person, like a writer, a political figure, but usually somebody else narrates the whole story. But here, they were able to listen to whole story firsthand from the owner's voice. I think that was one of the things that interested them. Also, this memory site is very engaging because we upheld the active participation and engagement of our visitors. We didn't want to create a site that only talks to people, but talks with people. And that was very important for us from the very beginning. And we wanted to have the contributions of our visitors. To do that, we allocated certain spaces for them where they can write their thoughts, register their opinions, dreams about certain topics. Like we have, let's say, a board full of cards on which they write memory, truth, justice, and hope. So our visitors are able to write wonderful things, and this site grows with their opinions and thoughts. We have a video recording room where they can record, and if they give consent, share their lived experiences, their own stories. We have other spaces like digital screens where they can create their own banners with a message. So this active engagement really enhances the site, adds other dimensions to our site, and it's regularly updated. And one of the things that we wanted to refrain from, yes, a very tragic event happened here, right, on January 19th, 2007. Hrant Dink was killed, but we wanted to focus on the other aspects of this venue because each building has layers and layers of stories, we have to explore them. And meanings. As Agos was flourishing in this building, it was a site of transformation, site of hope. And we wanted our visitors not to leave with despair or depressed in a way, but to feel the encouragement that they can do something, to act, to become agent of change at Hrant Dink. And offering archives was one of the particularities of this site because our visitors are able to access Agos newspaper archive from this venue digitally and hard copy, and also Hrant Dink assassination trial archives. And at the same time, we wanted to create a very dynamic space, not a space that is frozen, but through its public programs, workshops, activities, it's a very engaging space where our visitors are able to come, to talk together, to discuss things together, to learn together. And this active engagement also one of the things I think which impressed the jury as well. Yeah. And also its design, because to be honest, we didn't want to create another shrine. When you go to some museums dedicated to the, special personalities, it's always banners or red cordons where you cannot touch anything, or you have to look at the things from a distance. But here you wouldn't see those. Hrant Dink's room is there, and our visitors, if they wish, are able to sit on his desk, write something. So it's that intimate connection.
It's intimate. It's interactive in a way.
Interactive,
and
also
you feel
the
part
artwork.
of it.
Yeah, and the artworks that are here, we have artists' art pieces. Excellent artwork here that is based on reflection, commemoration, but his vision is based on creating treasure out of pain. So, the visitors are really, really impressed with that artwork. And also we have Horst and Andreas Knitz and Horst Hoheissel's artwork. So blending memory with art is also an added value of this memory site. And, I think these are all aspects that impress the jury as well.
I'm sure that your project was full of challenges, but also positive experience. Can you share one of each, perhaps, with us?
Of course, in the beginning, to be honest, as this would be the first memory site officially that would open in Turkey, that came with a responsibility because we had to learn ourselves as well. So that was very challenging in the beginning, how to create this site in the best way. in the right way, to be honest. And then we decided to overcome this challenge, actually, we decided to conduct a long preparation stage, which consisted of visiting different memory sites and memorials in 4 corners of the world and meeting with experts. And, literally 4 corners of the world, from Cambodia to South America.
Literally.
And we were lucky to meet with whoever we could reach out, from curators to architects, to benefit from their own experience, which was eye-opening and contributed a lot to our site. And then we started inviting those experts to Turkey, and we were having all-day meetings with them at the memory site to think together and to ask them, what would you do here? How would you design this site? So we were asking a set of questions, and many ideas for the exhibits stemmed from those meetings in the past. And we were also asking other people, people from different ideologies, identities, profiles, again, what would you like to see in such a site? So that was one part which was really helping us to overcome this challenge. And of course, as it would be dedicated to one person, we didn't want to create a shrine, as I said, and to do that, we carefully created the content and the curation. And now we don't have any comments like, oh, this is a place that idealizes one person and it's like a shrine. So we overcame that. We had financial problems. Of course, it's not easy to create a memory site. It requires a lot of financial support. So we were lucky to be supported by our donors, individual donors who contributed to the site, and it's a site that is free of charge. So we are happy that we are able to continue that aspect thanks to our supporters. And but also all of these were really positive experiences as well, because we learned a lot. We met with wonderful people from 4 corners of the world who became also the supporters of the site and also embraced this idea. And I view them as the messengers of the site and the vision of the site as well.
Yeah. They are in a way your ambassadors, and they stand as witness to all the amazing things that you have been working on, and to your contribution also to the museum international landscape as well. Nayat, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you. Thank you for your time, and I wish you also good luck with all the amazing things and projects that you are working on.
Thank you so much. And if our audience, they want to visit the site, it's accessible online as well.
Fantastic.
In English and in Turkish. So feel free to visit our site. And thank you very much for giving this opportunity to us.